On the fly. I was just out running some errands and shopping, and I just saw. There we go. There we go. She's got a pumpkin hood on and flip flops. They're brown. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry about that. This is getting incredible, guys, of what's going on. I don't have any people that I know that can afford houses, and these are all getting bought up and rented. And we've got, so everybody, we're out in the Hicks, and so if you know, like, living out in the sticks and stuff, it's right there. Okay, this is for my personal channel. So they sold that one. We got a Porsche. We have an Audi. We have a Honda. We have a BMW. So we have the other person decorated for Halloween. We have a Cadillac. They're having a party, so this is a new development. And now we got a $80,000 truck. Yeah, so we have a neighborhood party. It's not very cold out, but a lot of people have, I wouldn't call them hats. I would call them, I guess, stuff to keep their head warm or something. Like, well, BMWs, Mercedes, that was a Mercedes, Tesla, Lexus. So this is what I'm seeing. Like, so I've lived in this area for 25 years, and Lennar and the other builders are striking some pretty big deals, trying to get ahead of the margin calls. I did hear that they're trying to rent these houses out, a large percentage of them, because they have lines. There's a Porsche. We're out in the Hicks. Like, who has a Porsche and a BMW and a Mercedes and wants to live? And I know it doesn't look like it to you guys. You're like, well, you're in the city or the suburbs. No, we're out by the forest. Do you see the forest right there? Like, in my life, I've never really chosen to live out this far unless I had 5 or 6 kids and like to whatever, be a farmer or something. BMW, Buick, Mercedes. God, another Mercedes. I've never seen this in my life. So, and this is the third one I've seen. So these people recently bought this house or rented this house, and they are having such a large party that they rented tents and have cooks, and so it's like 65 degrees out, but these people are wearing clothing as if it's 20 degrees out. That's what's kind of interesting. So, which I understand, like if you're used to 80, 90, 100 degrees, 60 degrees can feel kind of cold, right? Like maxed out Jeep, Acura, Mercedes, Volkswagen. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that because I don't want to say too much. I got to try to make a living. That doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't make any sense. These were all available a couple months ago. They're $6,000 and $7,000 houses, and with the interest rates, the payment is around $5,000 to $6,000 a month. People here make about $5,000 to $6,000 a month. I went in a bunch of these. The lady seemed very concerned that they would sell them because the payment was equal to what people earn. So, did the builder cut the price by half? or did something else occur? Like these, these are $700,000 homes. At 7% is $5,000 to $6,000 a month. That's even if you put 100 to 200,000 down. So this is the house. If you remember, I made the video where I went in to analyze the quality of the structure. It was that one there. So they're moving forward on that house. Interesting fence building. Oh, so that one is going to have a large backyard. Cool. Interesting ornaments inside the cars on the dashes and hanging from the. I so want to ask this guy. I saw him move in like 2 months ago. What his thoughts are. Wow. So this is just, I'm just sharing facts. So like 5 years ago, this area, when you pulled up the census, was 97% white, 9.7. So 3% not white. And yeah, it's something now like in the last 3 years, it's gone from 3% not white to 20% not white. They just look like they're not ready for the weather, right? Don't know what to wear. Socks with flip-flops and sweaters and a lot of sweatpants and stuff. So we got someone saying, I always wondered about the numbers. Are there that many good paying jobs out there to afford the housing, transportation? Doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Someone said record number of canceled home loans in the latest report, 60,000. It doesn't matter anymore because so if you have somebody go bankrupt, whether it's, let's just talk about companies. Okay, thousands of people get laid off and the government doesn't collect. Here's something that I've come to grips with. The government collects about 30 to 40% in taxes from the employer, from the employee. Let's just say it's 40%. So you pay someone $60,000. The government collects $24,000 from that transaction. Job goes away. The government now has to step in and do some type of support for that person. Maybe it's only 30, 40,000, but now that directly comes from the government coffers, involves government agencies and employees and stuff. Just think about it on your own personal level. If you could keep someone employed, you're 50-50 about firing them. But you're like, okay, I pay him $60,000 a year. I really should fire him. But the government just told me they'll give me $30,000 to keep this person's $60,000 a year job. And I don't have to pay taxes or anything. Well, as long as that person puts out 30, 40% of what you normally expect, you're okay. So what if a huge portion, I'm talking 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 million people who are employed, are actually, their job is being held together by the government because it doesn't cost the government as much as you think it would. The government only has to pony up 40 to 50% of that, and the employer's fine with it. And the employer's like, yeah, I've got 1,000 employees. I should lay off 200-300. Government says, keep them all. We'll pay half their wages. And yeah, so the company's fine with that, right? We actually did that during COVID. It was called PPP. They said that they paid a ton of the wages for the airlines. So the airlines, while they had no revenue during COVID, had their wages covered. So the government basically set up a type of welfare versus them getting laid off. And so you just say, okay, private employer, keep them employed and we will refund you the money. Someone here says, I recently moved to a new townhome. My husband and I saved 8 years to afford. Yeah, My ex-wife and I saved for shit. It was almost 8 years, 7 8 years to buy a house. Like it's a serious sacrifice. We have debt, and that's what it's about. And these people, I don't know, Andrea. I think they're actually getting it handed to them for free, and I know that would be shocking. She says our payments still average. We're living below the typical couple of our age. That's great, especially if you're subject to this system. Putting yourself out there on the edge could be just devastating. They can't afford him. That's my point. I'm not standing on my own soapbox. Yeah, I'm Andrea. I'm like, that's why. So I've been in the finance field and the bank field forever. And I totally agree with you. I'm like, that's what this argument is about is there's a percentage of people, and it used to be a large percentage, now it's small, that actually have to work, save, and budget to make this happen. And now they're the minority. These other people are being paid payments covered. I'm just telling you, these places right here, these are 3,000 a month. I'm in the finance business and I talk to a few hundred people a month. So I talk to a few thousand. I probably talk to 5 to 10% of the population in a year. They don't make that kind of money that they can pay 3,000 for rent. Single people or couples. The problem now lies with the HELOC refi. I don't know. I'll read that later. I'm sorry. I'm driving. I don't think it's that easy. I think it's more complex than that. These people moved in magically. I don't understand how the job was here for them. The job that they don't seem qualified for through language and different things. So yeah, that's. I hope you guys saw that back there. So I made a video a couple months ago about Ghost Town Puyallup, how it was there was hundreds and hundreds of empty homes, and the agents were desperate. I talked with them. I personally interacted with them, and now those homes. So interest rates are worse, the economy's worse, and those homes are occupied. That makes no sense. Like, and people can go, oh well, they have 200,000-300,000 to put down, so the payment's only 3,000 a month. Jason, it's not 5,000. Okay, everybody raise your hand. Everybody who has one or more friends, close friends, who didn't own the house for the last few years, let's say 5 years, and has $300,000 in the bank. So they just sat there and said, you know what, I'm going to rent. I don't like these low interest rates and low house prices. So you're going to tell me that they sat there on $400,000 and said, well, now that prices are way up there and interest rates are way up there, I'm buying. I'm not buying it. Like, I can't. I've talked with a bunch of friends that I've known for 20, 30 years, and I said, if you were only making 80 to 100,000 a year, would you buy a house with a $5,000 payment right now? Every one of them says unequivocally no. Yeah, Captain Rankin. Yeah, we're being played, guys. Like, I smell rat is what he says, and it's really weird. This guy can't sell an RV to save his life now that his payment is $20,000 a month to cover those RVs. When he only had 2 RVs and interest rates were 2%, his payment was only $2,000 a month to the bank for that. So that's what I wanted to show, guys. That I'm the village idiot saying there's a ghost town and there's going to be a collapse. Next thing I know, the houses are full of people who didn't used to live in my town 5 years ago. And do I got an issue with outsiders? No, not at all. But when 10% of the population becomes outsiders in a 1 year period, that's kind of interesting to think about, right? Like, I, I don't even know what to say. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for viewing, guys. I appreciate it. And Andrea, hey, do your best. Um, I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, just the problem is if you put yourself out there and leverage yourself to the moon like people have for the last 5 years, yeah, they won. I know a ton of people that won. They took on $5 million worth of debt on a $200,000 salary and they hit a home run. But if that thing turns against you just for 6 to 12 months, $5 million worth of debt, or if you make $100,000 a year and it's a $500,000 worth of debt, it'll crush you in 6 to 12 months. So choose somewhere where you're happy and yeah, stay smart and just choose to be happy and have some savings. It's gas is going to stay high, food's going to stay high, unless you're getting the government handouts, like a large percentage are. You've got to play the game a different way. So we're all out here on the same roads in the same neighborhoods. But I'll tell you right now, we're all playing a different game. Some of us are playing football, some are playing baseball, some are playing basketball. We're all being played. This is not a level playing field. When you roll by, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that me and my wife working with kids had to save up for a house. We didn't roll up into our house with $200,000 worth of cars. I'll tell you right now, we rolled up into our house, the driveway. Jeez, it's actually really sad. This is only a couple decades ago. We had a $1,000 Volkswagen Bug and a $5,000 Kia Sophia. And I'll tell you right now, people go, oh, well, you're a loser. You didn't have money. I got a story for you. There was only a couple of my friends that had more money than us. So we had some money at that time. What was considered money? It was money you had to work for and save up. So we bought a brand new house, a nice house, and we only had, our vehicles were worth about 6 to 7 grand in the driveway. I've never seen people moving into a new house. I'm not talking, these are not $2 million houses. These aren't villas. These aren't mansions. These are standard neighborhood houses, and people are moving in with $200,000 worth of vehicles in the driveway. And they're not visiting. I've driven by multiple times. This is their vehicles. They have 3 $70,000 vehicles. Who buys their first house with $200,000 worth of vehicles? I don't know what to say. Thank you guys. Thanks on Andrea. Yeah. 07 Santa Fe. They bought a house. Good on you. Here's what we had. We had a 95 Kia Sophia. And we bought a house at 99. So it was 4 years old. And our other car was 30 years old. So, because we could really only afford one car. So, and you know what? I'm happy about that. Like, I don't know, the handout game would be pretty damn fun. So, we're either going to the moon. I'm talking about the prices of everything are going up tenfold, or they're dropping 50%, guys. There's nothing in between. That's where we're at. The shit that you own is going to drop by 50%, or it's going to go up 1,000%. So, in my opinion, you have to plan for the 50% drop. So, I got one last comment I'm going to check out because I'm turning and this is dangerous. Lots of wrecks right here. Says the repo man something. Just so you know, gas is under $5 out here in Washington again for some reason. Rallied up to about $5.50. Says the repo man is going to have a heyday in the future. Insurance is strong in that industry. Well, I'm wondering how that'll play out because I don't want to say a lot. There's going to start being a lot more insurance claims, commercial, residential, personal. I already saw the crazy weekend of my friends that I know. Very sad what happened to them insurance wise, if it was all by accident.